Kyle Rittenhouse, back in high school, Kyle Rittenhouse was voted class clown in his yearbook because, like a clown, his classmates found him to be kind of creepy. Kyle's been doing a right-wing media tour lately, and the type of shows he's been doing kind of fluctuates between the serious shows like Tucker Carlson or Glenn Beck to the kind of looser, funny shows like Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder. Those are the shows where he's kind of he knows the hosts on a first name basis. He's kind of joking around, breaking balls a little bit, and I got to tell you, watching Kyle Rittenhouse pretend to be human is creepier than Jared Leto's doll collection. I'm assuming that Jared Leto has a doll collection.
It's not normal.
Well, I threaten to kill Dave all the time.
Hey, it's okay. You guys have a little bit of a romance going on.
We do. Well, yeah. Then he has me to spit in his mouth. I'm like, come on, let's...
Steven, we all saw behind the scenes.
I say surprise me with it.
Yes. That's what he just goes... He shows up in a corset and says, do you like surprises?
That's how I like my coffee.
So I had to ask Steven to change. He was wearing lingerie for Dave before I came here.
That's true.
Yeah, that's irony. I think that's an attempt at irony. Here's a little comedy tip for Kyle. It's not ironic if it's true. Crowder actually does wear women's clothing. I think it's an attempt to be funny, but you know, people haven't thought that was funny. You know, that hasn't been funny to anybody for a long, long time. The theory that this show originated, one theory that this show authored is that Crowder's dad writes Crowder's material. It's either that or a man in his early 30s has the comic sensibility of a man in his mid 60s. One reason I endorse my own theory here is that, or our theory here, is that I relish the idea that Crowder's dad forces Steven to wear a dress. That makes me smile.
We do.
Well, yeah. Then he has me to spit in his mouth. I'm like, come on, let's...
Steven, we all saw behind the scenes.
I say surprise me with it.
Yes. That's what he just goes... He shows up in a corset and says, do you like surprises?
That's how I like my coffee.
So I had to ask Steven to change. He was wearing lingerie for Dave before I came here.
That's true.
Well, I wouldn't call it lingerie because I'm French-Canadian.
Plus, there's way too much exposed.
Yeah,
I would call it a string.
I mean, I wouldn't... Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, it was just a pair of socks. It likes me to wear a little something.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff hopping on.
Yes.
They've got the doilies on them.
So we're going back to Rosenbaum, but the FBI, to me, that was... What?
Just socks.
My attention is aimed at this child, not this child.
Yeah. Just three of the boys hanging out, chomping on cigars, seriously misunderstanding what it means to be a man. I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. You know, in this episode, Kyle says that he should have never gone, that if he could do it over again, he never would have gone in the first place. And I think that's kind of a beta soy boy kind of attitude. How about you would have, if you could do it over again, you would have left your gun at home? I mean, instead of blowing off a paramedic's arm in your attempt to flee the scene of a crime, why not offer to help the paramedic instead? But I think this kid is trained to believe that by guys like this, that helping people is weakness. I think this kid is trained to believe that being a man means policing people, not protecting people. I kind of asked myself that if I was Grosskreutz, the paramedic, if I would have, and I had that kid in my sights, this little fucking sissy in my fucking sights, would I have taken the shot? And I think I'm man enough to be honest with myself and say, I don't know. I have no idea. It reminds me of Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg said that if he were on the plane during 9/11, he'd have taken down those hijackers and 9/11 wouldn't have happened. Marky Mark thinks that he could have stopped 9/11 from happening. You and what funky bunch, buddy? That's a ridiculous fucking thought. But anyways, the idea that this kid did not cross state lines with that gun is based solely on the word of this kid and the guy who straw purchased that gun for him. And judging by the media he consumes, this kid, lying is a way of life for this kid. So I don't believe him. I think he crossed state lines with that gun. These guys keep begging him to sue. They keep fondling his balls on every single one of these shows, begging him to sue somebody in the media, anybody who who implied that he was a white supremacist. But you know what? It's a little hard to argue that you're not a white supremacist when you're a fan of a white supremacist.